Hey everyone, PinkEyeTheGlitch here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a post-commentary of some MCPvP hardcore games on MCHG.com. In this episode, some really lucky things happened to me, as well as some rather unfortunate things as well, so let's just get right into it. So I start off in the midst of a crowd of people. I start running in the direction that I think the swamp is in. Unfortunately, as you will soon see, I am running the wrong way, and I find no swamp whatsoever. I'm sorry for all of you who don't like spoilers, but I personally love them. If it wasn't for spoilers, I probably would have no idea what on earth was going on in pop culture these days, and I wouldn't be able to talk to my friends or socialize at all. So yeah, thank God for spoilers. So I'm just running around here trying desperately to find some soup ingredients so I don't die as soon as someone hits me. And I ended up finding a few brown mushrooms growing on some podzol, which is one of my favorite blocks in the whole entire game, which they just recently added. But unfortunately, as you can see, the reds are too close to the force field, and so I am unable to collect them, which is very unlucky in my opinion. So I just decided to collect some wood. Unfortunately, there is an abundance of that around here. I see some tall sticks growing out of the ground, so I start to punch down some of those and collect them. At this point, I'm kind of glad that I'm not stuck in an ocean or an unending desert, which has happened before. I'm glad it's not happening now. So I just continue to punch down some trees, grab some wood, and then I burrow underground in a makeshift cave to try and collect some stone. So after I seal myself in, I make myself a crafting table and a pickaxe and some bowls. I don't have enough mushrooms to make soup though, so that's kind of unfortunate, but if I do find some ingredients later, then I will be able to make some no sweat, so at least I have that. So here I go ahead and mine up some stone, and I make myself some stone swords, so just in case I run into someone, I will not be entirely defenseless. So I just dig out of my little hole here after grabbing the crafting table. I have no soup at this point, and so I'm really caught up walling in my worry and self-pity, and I completely miss a herd of mushrooms growing to my right, which is really unfortunate. Unbelievable. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that I'm not at a good start at this point, so I'm just running around having a terrible time, and then all of a sudden, I find a cave. So inside the cave I find lots of stone, and I find 3 pieces of iron growing by the side. So I just go ahead and make some stone tools in order to collect it. I also collect some coal as well that I see growing on a wall right next to it. And then last but not least, I begin to collect some cobblestone for my furnace. I have 3 pieces of iron at this point, so obviously I'm going to make an iron sword, but there's some gravel growing nearby, and so I decide to dig through it and see if I can find a flint, so that I can make a flint and steel. And now after digging out almost the entire pit of gravel, I finally find a flint. And after I find my flint, I make sure to put back the gravel I dug up, because that's the right thing to do, to clean up the place and leave things exactly the way that you found them. So I go ahead and organize my inventory. Once I'm done getting organized, I decide to go into the other end of the cave to see if I can find some more iron. I found some more right here. Good. So I just keep exploring this cave looking for some more iron. I find some dead ends with no iron whatsoever, and that sort of fills my heart with sadness, and so I shed a couple of tears and begin to move on. Found some more here. And even more over here. I find some more here. I thought at first that these bits of iron ore might be made of rubber, and that it was just a trick played on me by the admins. But fortunately I was wrong. They were legitimate. At this point I'm running very low on hunger, which is one of my least favorite things, and so I just try to stay as still as I can while I smelt my iron. As my iron is cooking, I find a few more pieces nearby. So I come back up to the top, and I collect the iron that has melted, and I begin to make myself a chest plate, and I put that on. And then some pants. At this point I look down and I see some people weeping into the chat. I try to say something to comfort them, but then I decide against it. I need every advantage I can get right now, including a psychological edge over my opponents, so encouraging them is definitely out of the question. So now that I've got all my armor, it's time for me to leave the cave. I'm really hungry right now. I've only got 3 chicken nuggets left, so I'm unable to run. As I'm walking along, a friendly zombie approaches me, and he decides to donate a little bit of rotten flesh to me, so that I can have something to eat. That rotten flesh tasted awful. However, it gave me the strength to move a little bit faster. I need to find a swamp or something fast, because I am in dire need of soup. So I'm running along the forest field hoping I can find somewhere to get soup, and then right in front of me I find a village, which is stocked with carrots and all kinds of food for me. So I just grab as many carrots as I can and then I leave the village. I need carrots so I'll have really good eyesight so I can see my foes easier. I don't use radar or anything, I just use carrots so that I can see my enemies really easily, and it really helps out a lot. This method has been used since World War II and it has been proven effective. And here another misfortune befalls me as I lose my footing and I fall into a huge hole. If I was playing golf right now, this would probably be the luckiest day of my life and I could score holes in one all day, but unfortunately this is not golf, this is the hardcore games, and so I have to move on. So I'm just running along, and I look in the chat, and it appears that some guy has died of fall damage, and another guy was laughing, so I asked him what happened, but he was unfortunately too selfish to share his story, and so my feelings were a little bit hurt, but I just got up and dealt with it. So right about now there are 6 people left, and I'm looking for some soup, and I finally find a jungle. I'm pretty excited about that. There's sure to be some cocoa beans in here, and I can make some chocolate milk. Unfortunately, the first cocoa bean I find is protected by the force field, and so I'm unable to break it. At that point, I was just filled with rage, and so I decided to take out my anger on some leaves nearby. So I'm looking around just trying to find some cocoa beans. The trees are looking pretty bare, unfortunately, but suddenly, right in front of me, a huge red mushroom appears. So I decide to collect some brown mushrooms, because I need more of those. So I begin to chop down the red mushroom here, hoping to find some reds so that I can craft some soup. And right here, I find 2 red mushrooms, and without further ado, I go ahead and make myself some soup. I go ahead and try to make some more soup. So now I have almost a full hotbar of soup, but I'm feeling rather greedy, and so I continue to hunt for some more ingredients. I find a cocoa bean growing on the side of the tree, and I immediately craft it into some delicious chocolate milk. So I'm just roaming around trying to find more soup when all of a sudden the feast gets announced. And I'm not even close to being ready for it with my lack of soup. So I continue to find some more, when all of a sudden, I am reunited with the swamp. I begin to collect some more mushrooms here so that I can make my soup. And I decided it would be a good idea to get some more wood so I can make some more bowls. So I just begin to make a workbench here, when all of a sudden, I'm attacked from behind. I have no idea who's attacking me, so I just continue to run and to collect some mushrooms because I like collecting mushrooms when I'm nervous. I put down my workbench here, and I decided to light up the ground behind me with some flint and steel so I can slow them down. I catch one on fire, and I realize that it's 2 guys with stone swords and no armor, so I should be a match for them. I take one out, and then I go for his friend. His friend is a little bit better at souping, and he's very good at running. Obviously, he's been going to the track every day and practicing. So I just chase him around for a little bit. I land a few hits on him here and there, but it's not enough to kill him. This guy is pretty good at running. I probably could have caught him, but I decided to clean up my inventory instead, because cleanliness is next to godliness. I recraft some soup, and then I decide to make my way over to the feast. Things are looking up for me, and I've got lots of soup as well as full iron armor and a flint and steel, so I decide I should be ready for the feast at this point. I'm on my way to the feast when all of a sudden a crazy pumpkin-head man attacks me with an axe. I defeat him easily, though. I see that he had a lot of snowballs. Perhaps he was trying to be a snow golem, but I doubt that. And so once that's done, I clean up my inventory again, and I begin heading over towards the feast. So I'm trying to head towards the feast, and I see a bunch of tower remnants, which is a good sign that I'm getting close. Then I see the feast platform. It looks like someone else has already seen the feast platform as well, because they've already stacked up to it. I've only got crafting tables to stack up though, so I have to get to the lowest area I can, and stack up from there. The chests have already spawned, and Max is already looking through it. He finds a diamond sword, but that doesn't frighten me, so I approach him and I begin swinging. I get a couple of good hits on him, and he's acting pretty scared because he throws his sword at me, which is a last resort move. And fortunately though, it doesn't hit me, and I am teleported up to the platform where the winners go. And I'm feeling pretty happy right now. I'm feeling pretty lucky. So yeah, I just look at myself, pretend to take some selfies, and I take a look at the little piece of paper that they give me, and I decide, you know what, why not? I'll go ahead and see what was in the chests. So I open up the first one, and I find a diamond sword. I have a couple of levels, so I decide, why not? I'll go ahead and enchant it. So I put it in, and I spend a couple of levels, and I get Bane of Arthropods and Knockback 1. It looks like my luck has finally begun to run out. So yes, thank you all for watching. In this gameplay I had some pretty lucky moments as well as some unlucky ones. Lord willing, I'll get a more exciting video for in the future, but until then, please give this video 5 stars and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.